What's happening? Boy, am I glad to see you. This is the New York Hardcore Chronicles Live. God, it's bright in here. Yes, rest in peace, Sinead O'Connor. Yep. What's happening, Hazer? How's things in Southampton, UK? Is it sunny and bright like in New York City? Yeah. Yo, big shout out right off the bat to Lee Upper Hardcore Comics. They got it on the big screen up there. Love you guys. My first sponsor for the show. Still supporting. Thank you so much. How's everybody else doing? Pissing down, of course. Right? Of course, it's the UK. Wouldn't have it any other way. Right? Yes, Sinead was a bit of a tortured soul. Absolutely. Yeah. Absolutely. What's up, Joe Frank? The whole Pope picture thing. Yeah. Yeah, remember that? Yeah, watch for those cranes. You see that? I turned the news on this morning and saw a big piece of a crane fell. I turned the news right off. I'm like, yeah. I'm not trying to hear about that. I hope everybody's okay. But I mean, news shouldn't even be called news. It should be called bad news. That's all the fucking news is, especially here in New York. It should just be called bad news. Speaking of bad news, what's up?
Nothing good.
Today on bad news, a crane fell. You know, fucking.
But if there was a good news channel and a bad news channel, you know everyone would watch the bad news channel.
Bad news. Crane fell. There's homelessness is at its peak. The subway's a rolling mental institution.
Yeah.
And free all ages at the Bowery this Sunday.
That's some good news.
Yeah. You know, there you go. Yeah, Sinead O'Connor, man.
Yeah, that's something. That was 56 years old, I think. Young.
Remember that when she tore up the picture of the Pope?
That was a huge thing back in the day.
Yeah, people got fucking obsessed. People were pissed, you know.
She ended up being right about what she was, protesting, but at the time, she pissed off Frank Sinatra.
Yeah, you don't want to piss off the chairman of the board, man.
No.
You know? That said, bad news gets ratings. Good news does not. Bad News. Great name. Wasn't that the name of the band, Bad News? Wasn't that the name of the band on the Young Ones? Isn't the band they had called Bad News?
Wasn't there? I think there was a British band called Bad News, like a funny band. I forget. Was it Bad Taste?
I think what was the name of the band on the Young Ones? Anybody? The Young Ones. What was the name of that band? The Bad News Bears. We're Bad News Bears. There you go. You know what? We're going to do something a little bit different today on the show. A variation of photo of the day. We're going to do I wouldn't call it set list of the day, but we're going to do name that set list. Okay? It's not even so as soon as the set list comes up, it's name that set list. All right. Name the band that's behind the set list. Okay. Number 1. Are you ready? Denizens from around the world, name that set list. Boom. Is it? Let's see. Who's the first one?
Who's the quickest?
Larry the Hunter.
Nice.
Followed by Max the Threat. Followed by Chris. Followed by Gary. Is it the Osmonds? Too easy. All right, you want a harder one? All right, you want to fuck with me? You want to fuck with the bull? You know what you get when you fuck with the bull? Yeah, that's true. You know what? Leave it to RS. Good one, bro. Whose handwriting is that on the set list? You know?
That's a good question. It's probably Magallo, I think.
All right. Here's another one.
You know what? Neatest handwriting.
This one's not too difficult. Here you go. Number 2. Are you ready? Go. Hello. She's like a lag. Is it Taylor Swift? All right. Yo, Larry the Hunter must have no lag time over in Pennsylvania. He's Madball. Yes, Madball. Madball, Gladball, MB. What's up, Rich Zoller? Yep, Madball. Okay, Freddie and the Madballs. Absolutely. You know what I'll never forget? When Madball caused a big stir at the Rainbow in LA. Like, it's a crazy night. They came, there was craziness. And the guy that was running the Rainbow in LA at the time, I forgot not Mario, I forgot the guy's name, but he was an old kind of wise guy kind of guy. He said, the Madballs can't come in here anymore. That's it for the Madballs. They can't come in here anymore. All right, last one. All right, this one might not be what you think it is. Here we go. Boom. What do you got?
Yes, that's a good one.
What do you got? Take a peek. This is a good feature. Is it Black Flag? No.
Close.
Black Flag, no. Black Flag, no. Black Flag, no. It's close. Sup, guys? Happy birthday, Steve.
Thank you.
Spud Monsters. Flag.
Going for Gary, yes. Which was the closest thing to Black Flag anyone's going to see. And it was fantastic.
Was this the flag show at the Gramercy?
Irving Plaza, I believe it was.
I actually saw Irving Plaza too. They were awesome. They were great.
That was because I never got to see Black Flag. So for me, that was the closest thing I got to see Black Flag.
It was good.
Yeah. Seeing Dukowski again and Des Cadena, that was awesome.
Now, what's the story with this here? What's the story with this?
I love that. That was on the side of the roadies. That was at the Warped Tour, the last Warped Tour at Jones Beach.
Right.
The roadie had his setup, and people must have been snatching his set list off there. So he
right
left a threatening note. But I love that they were doing all short sets. You could see all the little short sets they had lined up for whatever they were doing. So,
well, that's what bands do. They do. You do 4 songs, take a break. 4 songs, take a break.
Yep.
Couple songs, take a break. Many. Yeah. As opposed to typical hardcore bands that do 1 song, fall apart, get it back together, play a song, play the next. That's what we used to do in the High and the Mighty. We used to spend more time getting it together in between songs than actually playing. And the fucking songs were like 30-second songs, you know?
But you also did what the classic British bands used to do, where they would start and end the set with the same song.
Well, we did that at the High and the Mighty reunion that we just did.
Right, with the Road Warrior. That's what the Kinks used to do.
Oh, yeah? Well,
whatever the big single would be the first and last song of the set.
What we do with the High and the Mighty when we play, we do the intro and the first verse to Road Warrior to open the set, and at the end we do like the chorus, the guitar lead, the verse, and the outro.
Like an intro and an outro.
Dynamics, baby.
That's it.
It's
No, that's
dynamic.
Cool. It'll make people feel like they know the song.
It's all trick of the eye.
Smoke and mirrors.
Woo. All right. Anything else I need to know? How's Long Island? Everything okay out there?
It is what it is.
It's coming down to. Hey, you coming down to the show on Sunday?
I think I'm going to come early.
I hear it's Stephen Messina's birthday.
Yeah, and Scott Dottino as well. And it's going to be awesome. It's going to definitely come down early. We're going on 2:45. It's going to be amazing. And look at this lineup of bands we got here,
Yep.
I mean, you really can't beat this. For free, all ages. What are you going to do? Sit home on a Sunday? Come on.
Listen, we put it out there on social media. These shows need your support.
Yeah.
The attendance has been waning a bit. I think people are taking it for granted. It's been around for a couple years now. And so these next 4 shows, which are really, really good lineups. You know what I mean?
For sure.
A couple of really good lineups. These next 4 shows really need your support. And you know what? Let me say this here. Let me get loose a little bit here about this. You know what? This show doesn't need your support. We don't need your support. We need that fucking guy in your band that never comes out to support any other bands. That guy that fucking guy in your band that is that guy that shows up, an hour before he plays and leaves an hour after, and he never stands. That's the guy that needs to come down to the show. And I know who's out there, and I know what's up. So talk to those fucking bums in your fucking band and get them down to the show. How was that?
We know who you are. We know what you look like.
We know who you are. Listen, you might be there. Listen, Kenny, get your ass down to the show on Sunday. Larry, of course you're coming down. Listen, all you kids in Pennsylvania, you're darn tootin'. Get your ass down there.
Yeah,
that's right. If it's free, it's for me. That's right.
That's right. And if it's free, it means you got money to drink with when you get there.
Chris, if I only lived 1,000 miles closer, no excuse. And we know where you live. Listen, I'm not kidding you. I got on my phone last night and personally texted, went through my whole phone book and was like, seriously,
Yeah.
Hey, Fabrizio in Italy, you better be there on Sunday, bro.
That's right.
Fucking swear to God, bro. Yep. There you go. All right. Enough
dilly-dally.
I'll talk to you soon, and I'll see you. Yeah. I'll see you on Sunday. Oh, and Rat Bones is setting up his crap on Sunday, too.
Oh, wow. Now we're getting back to the old school now.
Back to that's why it's the Back to the New York Hardcore Roots Music Series.
That's right.
Not only do you get 5 bands for free, but you get Rat Bones' crap laid out on the sidewalk.
It's gonna be awesome. I'll see you there.
I'll talk to you later. All right. And there you have it. This is the one, the only, often imitated, never duplicated New York Hardcore Chronicles Live. And we are sponsored by New York Hardcore Comics, The Organic Grill, the Texas Silver Rush, Generation Records, 126 Hardcore Clothing, Upstate Records, and looking for extreme music? DTFM Vinyl has got you, my friend. Located on 13th Ave in Fargo, North Dakota, we have the state's best selection of punk, hardcore, metal, ska, oi, and more. Can't make it in? Shop online from anywhere in the country at www.dtfmvinyldistribute.com. DTFM Vinyl, where the policy still is and always will be death to false metal. Come on now, George and 126 Hardcore Clothing. They're a streetwear brand for restless who don't compromise. Are you a restless individual who doesn't compromise? Well, you've come to the right place. They're about being positive, spontaneous, and, believe it or not, incredibly true to yourself. For years, they experimented with several printing methods and materials and collaborated with a large number of designers and illustrators, always giving room for fresh perspectives while retaining, you got it, the hardcore attitude. Get in touch with them. Ramp up your weak-ass clothing game at www.126clothing.com. That said, let's clear the deck. Let's bring our guest on. Clear the deck. What the heck? Here we go. Today's guest is a singer-songwriter hailing from the Empire State of New York. He's known for his work with the bands Earth Crisis, Path of Resistance, Vehement Serenade, Apocalypse Tribe, 1,000 Drops of Venom, and Freya. Here today to talk about the new Freya release, Fight As One, and a whole lot more. Please welcome back to the show, coming at us from Syracuse, New York, Mr. Karl Buechner. My man.
I like that you listed all the bands.
Yeah, sure.
It's very nice.
How are you, bro?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm good. You know, the last time you were on the show, that was at the peak of the pandemic, right?
Yep.
I looked at the analytics, and I've done to date, what is this, show 270 or whatever? Looking at it, that is the 22nd most viewed show I've ever done.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah. I think it was very timely. You know, it was right at the peak when everybody was inside, so that was good. You know,
for sure.
Yeah. Layla says, "Hey, Karl, when are we playing?"
Freya is going to be playing in Syracuse, Erie, and Pittsburgh coming up in August. Mm-hmm. And Earth Crisis is going to play This Is Hardcore, I think, on the first day. What is this? Is this the Syracuse show? The room below? Is this? No, this is Pennsylvania. Pennsylvania. That's Pittsburgh. Ah. Yeah. Good old Pittsburgh. And we'll get you the flyers for the other shows to put up. Yeah, other things. Yeah, we'll make our way to it. How's things upstate? Is it snowing yet? No, it's like 90 degrees every day. Oof. Yeah, it's pretty wild. Is that right? Are you from Oswego? No. Oh. Tommy, our guitar player for Freya, is from Oswego. Ah. Yep. So he grew up in basically an Arctic wasteland. Wow. Yep. Commonly known as Oswego. That's right. There was no dispute with Native Americans when the colonists moved in because no one wanted to live there, and that's a true story. Is that right? Yeah, there was so much snowfall that there was like no permanent settlements there. You can have this. Yeah, it's all yours. Enjoy. 10 feet of snow in the winter. God. Yeah. Hey, have you seen Moby's vegan film? Yeah, he had us in it. My guitar player Scott was interviewed. Yeah, that was pretty cool. Yeah, I thought it was really good. We had him on recently to talk about it. I thought it was well done. It was good. It was, yeah, and that'll reach a lot of people. Like just putting it up on YouTube like that. Yeah, he has. It was the smart move, and I give him a lot of credit for going that route with it. I went that route. My family did with a film that my dad did in the 70s, a Muhammad Ali documentary. We put it up on YouTube for free, and it got a lot of eyes on it. And he did the same with that film, and it's a very, very passionate film that he made there. Yeah, I think it probably debuted in like, I don't know, art houses or something, but I think it's cool that he made it so accessible, and and it's well done, and it definitely has like a thread of his sense of humor through it as well. It's not all grim, you know.
For sure.
Despite the subject matter being what it is, which is animals being abused and how it should be stopped.
Yeah. I thought that the first third or the first half of the film was actually a really good documentary about hardcore. It was like a really good hardcore documentary, the first third of it, very informative, very, very well done. And then it changes tact a little bit, but it was well done. Yeah.
Yeah, I think so. And I think it's cool how we broke it into decades, the different eras of the bands.
Yeah. Absolutely. Let's talk a little bit about the band.
Okay.
And that's what we're going to focus on. We're going to try to focus. I mean, I'm sure we'll touch on Earth Crisis here and there, but let's talk a little bit about Freya.
Okay.
How did the band form? What was behind it? Like I know we're going back a ways, but set the table for us how the band came together.
Okay. At the end of the 90s, Earth Crisis was winding down. My guitar player Scott was getting ready to, I think he was going to move to California with his wife, and Dennis was going to move back to Buffalo. So we weren't going to be involved with Earth Crisis full time. We pretty much put that on a hiatus, and we reactivated a band we'd done years earlier, Path of Resistance.
Mm-hmm.
And we kept going with that here and there when people were available. But Ian and Eric and I formed Freya in probably 2000 or 2001. That's when we started composing. And the goal was to create a band where, we could incorporate different styles and try things that we hadn't musically. And Eric was coming from bands like Cross Section and had more of like a melodic approach with his writing, with his guitar work. So the aggression of Bulldog style from Earth Crisis and the melodic approach of Eric are kind of got stirred together when Freya first formed. And we put together the first record, Last Light Drains, with our friend Corey and Darian, and it didn't sound like Earth Crisis. I think it stood on its own.
Absolutely.
And from there, every album that we've done has kind of been experimental. And Ethan is monstrous. He can play bass, he can play guitar, he can play keyboards, sing. Like, he's a great composer. And he's played bass in prog style bands and guitar in surf rock bands. So he definitely brings something unique into the composition when he became a part of it. And he wrote a lot of this newest album.
What was the lyrically? I know that the band sort of described as using a lot of imagery from Norse myths. Was this sort of a game plan, or is this just how it just sort of came together?
Well, I mean, when I was growing up, I would read a lot about like Greek and Roman mythology.
Right.
And when I discovered like the Celtic and the Norse mythology, it was all brand new to me at the time. And it was, to this day, I think it's incredibly interesting. And it's kind of a reflection of the mindset of those people during that era and time too.
Wow. So
yeah, it was fun to use as a backdrop for the lyric writing.
Our good friend and supporter RS asks, where does the name come from? Could you give us where background on the name? What does it mean?
Freya is the Norse goddess of three very unique things. to be comprised of. She's the goddess of love and lust and war. So I thought that was really wild. So I was like, that's perfect.
Yeah. Now it's sort of the subject matter, the content. I mean, just giving it a think here. In Earth Crisis, heavy straight edge or veganism theme. Moving to this other band, is it was that a conscious sort of effort to say, okay, I'm writing for this band, we go in this direction. Okay, I'm working with this band now. Is there a real sort of separation between the two lyrically? When you were writing?
Here's the thing. With Freya, we can write about history. We could write about interpersonal struggles. We could write about like spirituality or speculation, like the first song that that we made the video for on this album, Nothingness or God, that you opened up the show with today.
Yeah.
We've all lost friends. We've all lost family members. Like the lines in that song are basically just us wondering aloud, like, will we be reincarnated? Is there heaven or hell? Is there nothing? So it's just pondering those questions.
Sure. Makes sense. One thing I do, and I've said this many times on the show, is one of the great joys of doing the show is the week leading up to the show, really delving into the upcoming guests' catalog. And, the Earth Crisis stuff, of course, I knew, a lot of it pretty well. This was a bit new, and I tell you, I really enjoyed delving into the catalog. And especially, we'll get to the new stuff, just sounds so damn good. And I love the covers, man. I love your record covers,
Thank you, bro.
Yeah. Could you give us some perspective on this record?
Yeah, that is Cain and Abel fighting in the Garden of Eden. And if you flip the record over, there's the same tree is there and it's withered, but the figures are in modern military fatigues. At still, one.
If you just turn it over, if you just turn it over.
Well, if on the back side of it.
Oh, on the back side. Okay, right, got it.
Yeah, and on the back side, and there's like a mushroom cloud on the horizon. So it's like, things will never change. There will always be conflict.
Got it. Was there like in doing this, man, just looking at the years, as the Last Light Drains, 2003, Lift the Curse 2007, 2010, Paragon 2013, Grim 2. Is this basically something like that? When Earth Crisis kind of would cycle out, you'd sort of return to this? Was this something that you, from time to time, is this something that you look forward to sort of returning to every now and then?
Yeah, absolutely. We work on Freya at our leisure. Ethan runs a tattoo shop. Ian and Eric both have white collar jobs, and they're involved in Freya, and Ethan is involved in some of the other bands that I mentioned earlier. So, we work on this from time to time, and we, finally built up a collection of songs that I thought were strong enough to be ready to be released. And here we are. It took a little longer because of the pandemic. Like this record would have hopefully come out a few years ago, but I'm really glad that we're finally to the point where we have the September release for it.
Yeah. And initially the first bunch of releases were on Victory, right?
Yep. Yeah, we were on Victory, and we definitely got a push from them. We did. I mean, they had the video for Last Light Drains it was on MTV. Actually, Jamie Josta interviewed us when he was doing Headbangers Ball. Yep. And one of the songs from one of the more recent records was on an HBO show called Shameless I think during like a chase or a fight scene.
So the stuff got out there.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
Gary, someone just sent me the back cover. It's a little dark, but this is the back cover, right?
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, how about that? That's awesome.
Yeah, I always thought that would make a fun shirt.
Thanks for sending that to me, Gary. Good looking out.
Yes, Gary.
Yeah, good. Yeah, that's a good for sure. All Hail the End. Love this cover, man. Hold on. This was, like we said, this was the last release on Victory 2010. Any recollections on this? Any perspective?
Yeah, that was a really fun record to do. We had we had Paul from Between the Buried and Me. I think that's the album where he did some guitar work. He guested with us, and we did a full European tour off of that album. So that it was well received, and that album, again, stepping away from Earth Crisis and kind of what's expected from that band and being able to do something different with Freya. All the songs were about how these different civilizations collapsed, like the Egyptians or the Romans or the Mayans or the Aztecs. So there was some specific stuff about how civilizations are in some ways fragile, and there's no guarantee that they'll last forever. And we tried to offer examples through that on that record. As we live in this world we live in right now, right? This, extremely, my dad and you and I spoke a little bit about family and stuff. My dad's 90, and his line lately a lot is, "It's the fall of the Roman Empire." He says to me when I say, when I say to him, Pop, it's crazy out here, New York, and he says, or when talking about current affairs, he says, "It's the fall of the Roman Empire." That's his line. Well, I hope not. It's nothing I want.
Yeah, of course, but we've mentioned it before, how a guy like that who's 90 years old in his lifetime arc has, when he was a boy, it was radio. You gather around the radio,
Yeah.
And so in that arc of 90 years, it's scary, man. It's a scary thing, and things are accelerating fast. Technology is accelerating fast. It's a terrifying thing, I think.
Yeah, and there was no AI. There was no threat from nuclear, chemical, or biological warfare. I mean, the time when he was born, in some ways, was a better world in that it may have been safer.
Yeah, definitely. My perception is that you're a voracious reader. Is that safe? Is that safe to assume?
Yes, absolutely. Yeah.
What what are you reading? Are you reading anything now? And what and maybe and what have you what are big authors that really you've enjoyed and who've influenced you?
Well, over the years I've read a lot of stuff about history, and right now I'm kind of revisiting some of the stuff from my youth that I've loved this entire time, like Tolkien's books, Hobbit,
there you go.
Lord of the Rings.
Oh yeah, there you go.
I'm a huge fan of all that, and I guess one of the most recent things I read was Christopher Tolkien. His son finished one of his father's works, Children of Hurin.
Is that right?
Yeah. So, I've been
what's
revisiting
that?
It all takes place like in the very beginning of Tolkien's mythological world.
I see. Yeah. Do you watch do you watch TV, Netflix, stuff like that?
To an extent, yeah. I don't think I'm as obsessed with TV as certain people are, but yeah, I watch some stuff for sure. Yeah.
We're watching The Witcher right now. I don't know if you've messed with that, but it's very good, The Witcher.
Yeah, my son told me to watch that.
Yeah. I think you'd really enjoy it. It's it's sort of the best kind of stuff that we enjoyed from Lord of the Rings films,
Yeah.
Before it got a little too kiddie, because
right.
The last couple films it got a little kiddie, a little Disney, but
yeah, with the Hobbit movies, they felt a little video game-ish to me. And they didn't need to tamper with the story, in my opinion. It was perfect.
Yeah, I agree with you on that. They really it was the last one or two was painful to actually,
Right.
but that said, the first three films I'm a big fan of.
Oh, me too. Forever. Yeah, they're masterpieces.
Yeah, is that right, Thomas? The Witcher's based on Slavic mythology. Yeah, I could see that. That makes sense. There's definitely a lot of production value to The Witcher. It's shot in Europe, and it's not a low budget production. It's done very well. Yes, yeah. So yeah, that's what we're. Mark Majok, excited to play with Freya in Pittsburgh.
Oh, very cool.
Yeah.
Very cool.
So that's the show I put up, right?
Yep.
What band are you in, Mark? Ironside? Let's see what he has to say. Yeah. Jerry D says, I saw Earth Crisis' 30-year anniversary at the Lost Horizon. Karl mentioned author Edward Abbey. What's his favorite book?
Yeah, The Monkey Wrench Gang. That's a great book.
There you go. That makes sense.
Yeah, there was my drummer Dennis from Earth Crisis. His buddy was there, and he runs a store in Buffalo called Burning Books, and they brought everything they had, like all kinds of stuff about like Earth First and the Animal Liberation Front, all that kind of stuff, like historical.
Gotcha. Another great cover. You guys have a good run of really great record covers, man.
Well, yeah, we always need to give credit where credit's due.
Please.
Those were painted by our former guitarist Brendan Flynn, and he actually was out in LA, and he met with Guillermo del Toro. I think he came to see one of his gallery showings.
Wow.
And he's done some really wild movies. I think he did like the second Hellboy.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, he makes noise in that world too.
Yeah, he did. He won an Oscar for what's the film I'm thinking of with the well, he did Hellboy. He did Hellboy, right?
Yep.
And he did what's the film I'm thinking of that won an Oscar? The one with the let me. Yeah, here he is. He did. Oh yeah, he did Hellboy. Oh, he did Hellboy. Well, he did Hellboy, Pan's Labyrinth, Hellboy 2, The Shape of Water. That's what it was. The Shape of Water. That was a great film. And he did Nightmare Alley. Yeah. Yeah. Yes, Pan's Labyrinth. That's right. Yeah. Hey, you know who we have to shout out who just showed up? Mark Rizzo. Yo, what's up, guys? Saw Earth Crisis with Hatebreed at Tramps in 1998. What's up, Rizzo? Yeah. Hope you're well, Mark. Hope you're well. Any perspective on this record, recording it? I'm
pretty sure we've done the last last 5 consecutive Freya albums at More Sound, which is in Syracuse. Right. And our buddy Randall Jocko is the chief engineer at his studio. Mm-hmm. And I really don't see a need to go anywhere else ever, right, because, his skill level is so high, his gear is so great. Like, I'm always really happy with his mixes, and Ethan is too. But this record here, that I don't have my glasses. It's Paragon of the Crucible, right?
Yes.
Mm-hmm. Yes. That album lyrically was kind of a follow-up to the previous record. It's, let's say, if our civilization collapsed, what type of cults, what type of worldviews would the survivors have? Like, what type of cultures would they develop? What would their belief systems? Yeah, so there was some real wild speculation with that, and just kind of imagineering with the lyrics for that record. And probably my favorite song off that would be Under Endless Ice.
Got it. Has the lineup slightly changed through the years?
Yes. Yeah. Corey, our original drummer, moved to Boston for a while. Mike moved to Arizona. So, when people got different jobs or job opportunities, or, their girlfriends had different job opportunities, people have come and gone. But sure, the whole point of Freya is to be a tribe, and whoever is available to play and whoever wants to contribute is always welcome.
Yeah, that makes sense. And then, which sort of, and I know we're skipping around a little bit, but that's just how it goes. Which kind of brings us to the current lineup, right?
Yes.
Tell us who's in the band.
Okay, we've got Tommy, and he's been in the band for a long time. He played in a metallic hardcore band called Seasons Past. And Ed, who is he's wearing the Void Emperor shirt. He was in the very first straight edge band from Central New York that predates Earth Crisis. Wow. And they were called Upstate, and they're from Utica.
Wow. Utica hardcore represent.
For real, yeah.
Wow.
And Upstate was awesome. Earth Crisis used to play with Upstate.
Wow.
Yeah, and we recorded some of our demos at a studio out there. So we've known Ed forever. He's also in a rock band called Dracula Jones. He also plays in a band he fronts called Void Emperor. And Ethan, like I mentioned, he's played in The Surf and Alien Man. He did a solo album that you could probably find online, Ethan D. Henry. Mm-hmm. And he runs a tattoo shop. And like I said, he's just a beast musically. He can play every instrument. And Eric played in Cross Section and Bone Jack. So before he joined Earth Crisis, and before we started Freya, he'd been in a lot of melodic hardcore bands. So
right.
I think he does a lot of very cool leads and solos with the band, and he writes great stuff.
I think I know where this picture was taken.
It was taken. Let's hear your guess.
I'm guessing this is outside of Empire Live in Albany.
Yeah, you're right.
There's like this little weird spot over there, and I have another picture. Let me find. I actually sat there when we played there. I sat in that little. There's like a couple benches. It's like this weird. a weird part of town there, you know.
Yeah, we played with Leeway. We played with Leeway at that show. Yeah, it was awesome.
I'm looking for. Oh, here it is. This made me go, oh yeah, definitely. This shot here made me go, oh yeah, definitely. That's the spot.
Yeah.
Yeah. I like how in this band, I like in all pictures I see, you're sort of position yourself like, I don't want to say in the background, but it's like, I like how, you know, it's a team effort here, right?
Absolutely. And I want to give everybody a little background on all of our players.
Please.
And Tommy went to Berklee School of Music in Boston.
Wow.
Yeah. So, I mean, every one of my guys is a powerhouse when it comes to composing and performing. I'm really proud to be on stage with all these guys.
Right on. Fred Mike DeJean says, much love from Astoria, Queens, Karl.
Oh, much love to you, my friend.
Yeah. What's up, DeJean? And thank you for reposting that about the Bowery Electric, DeJean. I appreciate it. But yeah, I do like in the photos how, you know, you're not up front and center and everything. It's sort of like, I'm part of this ensemble, you know?
For sure.
Yeah. A little humility goes a long way in this life, right?
In my opinion.
Yeah. Oh, wait. But yet you asked for it, you got it. A third photo, this one live in action from Albany, New York. This is that venue, I believe.
Yep.
That venue that's basically used to be a parking garage that now bands play in.
I didn't know that.
Oh yeah, it's part of that parking garage, man. Yeah. Concrete parking garage.
It had a nice system, so they did a good job of transforming it.
Yeah. It's an interesting place. This seems to be the release this is the release 16, and then there was a little bit of a hiatus.
Yes. Yep.
Give us some background on it.
That record, I'm really proud of. I think vocally on that record, I challenged myself to try different things. You know, there's actually I guess the equivalent of 3-part harmonies with some of the ways that I tried to, do the aggressive vocals. Like they're all like, you know, like a scream, but like, yeah, they're the equivalent of 3-part harmonies.
And what inspired that? What brought that to the table? Was it you, the producer, or like what brought that sort of to the forefront?
I think that if we're going to compare and contrast Earth Crisis to Freya, it's like Earth Crisis needs to be a specific thing. Whereas with Freya, we can always try something different. You know, it's kind of like the laboratory where we can go in and experiment. And I'm going to be completely honest. You know, I wasn't really focused on, can I pull this off live? I wasn't. I was like, let's try and create like soundscapes with this record.
Sure.
So, I mean, it was fun to do because it was different.
It's nice that artistically you have that outlet. You know, it's you know, I know how it can be when you're sort of locked into one thing, and this is sort of what the fans want to hear, and we need to do this, and this, and you know, this is our format, and you know, we don't want to stray too far from that. It's nice to have other outlets artistically.
Exactly, and that's what Freya has always been from the beginning.
Yeah,
you know, because everyone is involved with different groups and different styles of music. So when we get to come together and do this, it's always fun because there's no clear-cut path.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. Let me take a sponsor break, and we're going to come back, and we're going to do a little Women of the Pit segment, and we're going to bring Mario and Kim from Upstate Records on the show, and let's talk about the new release and what's going on. So I'll see you back here in a couple of minutes, okay?
Okay.
All right. That's right. You asked for it, you got it. Sponsor break.
Since 1992, Generation Records has been a mainstay of the New York metropolitan area music scene. Today, they offer a diverse selection of new and used rock, jazz, indie, hip-hop, punk, hardcore, metal, blues, soundtrack, and reggae LPs, as well as t-shirts, posters, and other merchandise. They buy used record collections and music memorabilia and will pay you top dollar for them. House calls made for large collections in the tri-state area. Call or email generationrecords@gmail.com and follow them on Facebook and Instagram.
Hey guys, Vlad from Organic Grill. As you can see, we're in a new location on West 3rd Street, right by Blue Note and Comedy Central. The place is bigger, kitchen is bigger, we have more varieties, more food. We are looking forward to treat you guys with great dishes. All Hardcore Chronicles, welcome to Organic Grill. We are going to serve all the events as we usually do, and we are happy to see you guys.
Peace, what it do? Welcome to NYHC Comics at 117 Main Street, Dobbs, Surrey, New York. I'm Debo the Pro with my homie
Lee Farley.
Welcome to the spot. Oh, shit. Specializing in yesterday's and today's comic books, rare CGCs, toys, collectibles.
Got skateboards, old school tapes, Magic the Gathering, Warhammer.
Video games, original art pieces by your favorite New York City and worldwide artists. Let's go. Skate decks all day, baby.
We also have the young reader section here for like 10 and under. Pops. People love the Pops.
Star Wars. We are New York hardcore. We always rep the scene. Let's get it on.
And we're back. How are you? This is the New York Hardcore Chronicles Live. Hey, a couple mentions coming up. A week from today, there will not be a show this Sunday because there is a Bowery Electric show with Dog Eat Dog, Kings Never Die, Incendiary Device. It's going to jump off tonight. Dead Crew and Serial Poets. It is Scott Dotino and Steven Messina's birthday bash. So, that said, a week from today, Josh Jerk from School Drugs will be on the show. A couple days after that, Vic Bondi from Articles of Faith, Evo on Wednesday, August 9th. It is the Martin Scorsese Film Retrospective Part 1. And I got to start rewatching some of these films. I'm trying to figure out how to do this because maybe Part 1 should just be all the Martin Scorsese gangster films. And then Part 2, or not. Listen, there's a lot of Martin Scorsese gangster films. That's an episode in itself. Wednesday, August 23rd, a real New York personality, Johnny Paisano. Played with Marky Ramone. He's with Willie Nile. He's got quite a resume. Kevin Sharp from Brutal Truth, Lockup, Primate, and Venomous Concept on August 30th. And we just announced this the other day. Co-hosted by Howie Abrams, Ill Bill will be on the show. So we're looking forward to this. Senor Ill Bill. There you go. Hey, I know what you're wondering. I might be preaching to the converted, but there is a PayPal address. There is a page for this show. This show needs your support. This show thrives on your support. This show is in existence because of your support. So there you go. Please, if you've been lurking, please contribute to the show. This show just doesn't magically happen. It needs your support. That said, I want to let everybody know that yes, it is true, free. Just like this book was free to all sponsors. Coming up, it's going down. Volume 2 is about to go to the printer. It is free to all the patrons. If you are a patron, I made a post on the Patreon page. If you want a book, send me your address, send me a message, putting the list together now. This book is going to, this is the New York Hardcore Chronicles, Volume 2, 1990 to 1999, a flyer oral history. It is going to the printer in about a month. It's looking like a release date of October 1st. Patrons get it for free. All patrons get it for free. If you're out of the United States, you have to pay for the shipping. If you're in the United States, you get the book, the shipping for free. Here is the back cover of the book. If you have been wondering, this is the back cover of the book. There you go, with comments by Evan Seinfeld from Biohazard, Lenny from Crazy Eddie and Fahrenheit, and of course Howie Abrams. So that's book is getting closer. Yes, do good things and good things will come to you. How about a page? Who wants to see a page from the book? Here you go. This is a book page. Volume 2. This page focuses, this is Roger Moret talking about the Agnostic Front reunion shows at Wetlands. So this is a for instance, page of the book. It's going down. Get the book for free. Join Patreon. There it is. Doesn't matter if you're a $2 patron or a $100 patron. It's my way of saying thank you for the support. The book is yours for free. That said, well, thanks, Gary. Get ready for the second one. Gangs in New York was Scorsese, yes. AV, how are you? Yes. And yes, Ill Bill is dope. And he will be coming on the show. So there you have it. Once again, if you're a patron, please get in touch. Send your shipping address. That said, I want to shout out my latest patrons. Jean, Nerd Cage Live, whose show I will be on. I will be posting that. I'm going to go on. I don't go on other people's shows often these days. I feel like it's a bit repetitive. But I am going on Nerd Cage Live. I'll get the link out there pretty soon. And also want to thank Camille Paradise, latest patrons. Thank you so much for supporting this show. And thanks to all the sponsors as well. That said, let's clear the deck. Let's bring on from Woo Man of the Pit, Lori Dawn.
Hello. How you doing?
Woo Man.
Single woman of the pit today. Yes, Gina sends her apologies.
I like the clock in the background. It's a nice
touch. Thank you. It's just clicking away.
Gotta know what time.
Enjoying the show so far. Enjoying the show. Yeah, I love that band.
Could you wear it around your neck when you come down to the show? On
Absolutely. I'll be like the little white rabbit.
Come down to the show. Hey.
I'm late. I'm
late. Do you like how I'm threatening everybody? How they better come down to the show?
I do like it because, I had to take a car, a boat to get here, I mean.
Oh, you're in Long Island right now?
Yeah, I'm on Long Island right now. Yeah, I'm going to spend a couple of days by the pool with my mom and then come to the show on Sunday.
So you're covered. You're free from my reign of terror as far
I am. I was afraid. For my life.
What was that one? Cowering at the door, cowering at the exit?
Cowering at the exit, yes.
What are you doing? I'm cowering at the exit.
Cowering at the exit, yes. But I'm here.
All right, good. Yeah. Is that right? We took the ferry to shows at Toad's Place sometimes. Yeah, you could take a ferry. You could take the ferry from Long Island to Connecticut.
Yeah.
Right?
I take so that the Bridgeport ferry is closer to New Haven.
Yeah, makes sense.
Yeah.
So that said, let's talk about this band here, and we will bring our guest Karl on as well. But give us a little perspective. What have we here?
Okay, so here we have a band called Power Alone, which is a vegan straight edge band. They're from California, and their music is, pretty hard with a nice groove to it. It was put on my radar by Kelly from X Sisterhood X, which is I feel like they're kind of like a sister group of ours. They do what we do with, the straight edge community there. Highlight bands and women in hardcore. So we love it. This is one of Kelly's favorite bands, so I had to check them out. And they grew out of the ashes of another band called Gather, who actually opened up for Earth Crisis.
Is that right?
Yep. Heavily influenced by Earth Crisis and those types of bands from the 90s. You can hear it in their music. Snapcase, maybe 108. So, really cool, interesting people, totally into that vegan, drug-free lifestyle. They fight for animal liberation. So, I felt like it was right up Karl's alley here. So,
absolutely. How about we listen to some of their music?
Yeah.
How about some music?
Love it. Love it.
Man.
Yeah.
Hard.
Yeah, I like it. I like it a lot. So, Eva was saying that she had to change her voice style, her vocal style from Gather to this band here because she developed nodules on her vocal cords. But I mean, her voice is just still strong and amazing. I love it. I love it. So
let's bring Karl back on.
Good stuff.
Hey, man.
That is fucking vicious. That sounds hard.
Yeah. Some good stuff, but just enough groove into it to make it danceable. So I really like it. I really like music like that.
Do you know Karl, do you know this band that she was in previously?
Yes.
Gather?
Yep. Yeah, we played on the West Coast with them years ago.
Yes.
This sounds monstrous, though. The recording sounds good, too.
Yes, very good.
Yeah.
So it's out on Indecision Records, and you can find it on Bandcamp or any way you stream music. This was a band, actually, that I approached when we were doing Our Comp. I wanted them to be on Our Comp, but they just didn't have anything at the time. So they passed on it, but maybe Volume 2, I don't know. They just put this new music out. I think there's 4 or 5 songs, and their EP is called Nothingness. So seems to be,
And they are from, where are they from exactly?
California.
Where in California, do you know?
I'm actually not sure. Slipping my mind right now.
Yeah. California's a big state. It's like it could be its own country.
Yes, it actually can. Yes.
The country of California.
Yeah.
So, well, great. Well, thank you. Thanks for
check them out. Check out their stuff on Bandcamp. I think their new EP is $4, so it's a bargain.
Yeah, cough it up.
Yeah, exactly.
All right, thank you, Lori, and we will see you.
Definitely see me on Sunday. I will be there.
I know you'll be there because I'll come out to Long Island. I'll make a scene out there in Long Island. I'll make it. I'll burn that house, your mother, everything, the whole house. All right, I'll talk to you later.
Okay, cool.
Thank you, Lori.
Bye.
Very cool. You know, I don't know if you're picking up on this, but we've been doing all ages free Sunday matinees at the Bowery Electric, which is a block from the old CBGB's. And the shows are free. And originally they were over at A7, where A7 is. Then we moved it over to Bowery Electric, and the shows have been, the series has been, it's been great. But the last couple months, last couple shows, attendance is down a little bit. People are sort of, people kind of take these things for granted. And, I'm in the midst of a bit of a reign of terror as I go door to door, threatening people that if they don't come to the show, then they're going to have a problem. So
whatever it takes.
I think regardless, people have, it's the kind of thing like, oh man, I miss it. I wish I would have done something. It's like, listen, do something. Get up off your ass and support a free fucking show in New York. And for this is a gathering place of our community and our culture. I'm not going out without a fight. So that said, I'm sure people are responding. Good, Holly. I'm glad listen. You're spared, Holly. Smart move.
You took her off the kill list. That's good.
Yeah. It's like you're off that. So that said, let's talk about. Let me get my. Let's talk about this a little bit, and this is something that I've been listening to. Ba-boom. And let's bring our friends and supporters from Upstate Records. Let's bring on Mario and Kim as well. Hi.
Hey, what's going on, guys?
Hey, Drew, it's Mario.
What's that?
It's Mario.
Oh, what did I say, Mario?
Yeah.
Karl, what's happening, brother? How are you?
Good. How are you?
Very well.
We're good here.
Very well.
Cool. Mario.
You still can't even say it, Mario.
Yeah, Drew, I'm not coming to the show.
No, see that.
Oh boy.
There's a clash of accents here. It's the New York City accent versus the Albany accent.
That's right.
Yeah, we don't have an accent.
That's right. How did Karl and this band come on Upstate Records' radar screen? Can you give us a little background on this?
Well, woke up one day, got an email. I think it was from Tom saying, hey, I don't know if you've ever heard of Earth Crisis. We have 3 bangers featuring Freddie, Jamie, and Scott. I'd like you guys to check it out. We're shopping it around. And I turned to Kim like, you won't believe the email we just got.
Yep.
And we listened to the 3 tracks. Karl, they came over, what, like a year and a half ago? Because we were playing them all last summer on repeat all summer long. It was like, we have to make this happen because it was just absolutely right up our alley in regards to the sound that we love.
I was going to say, style-wise, it's absolutely the closest you can get to me.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
cool.
And I told Karl, like, this record sounds good.
It bangs.
Yeah.
Hard.
Yeah. And Karl, your thoughts? Upstate Records, happy to come in for a landing there.
Absolutely. I mean, we're proud to be on the same label as the Mighty Blood Clot, So
No, it's been absolutely great.
Yeah, we immediately fit in with these guys, and like I think the whole roster is strong, and we're proud to be on the label.
Right on.
Well, we're proud to have you, Karl.
Hey, RS is asking, and he says another great cover. Does the artist have an Insta? Who put this cover together, Karl?
Oh, go ahead, Karl.
Kim and Ethan made this.
Okay.
So Ethan came up with a mock of what he was thinking of, and then I jumped in and brought it to life.
Yeah. And so when it comes to the imagery, when it comes to the lyrical approach and the music on this specific record, on Fight Is One, basically what I did was I thought, what we're coming up on the 20-year anniversary. What has been my favorite era of this band? And my favorite era was when we did the split with Hoods and when we did Lift the Curse, where, you showed the album cover earlier where Cain and Abel were fighting in the past, and the guys in modern military garb were fighting in the apocalypse. And I was like, that style of music on that record and the split with Hoods is what I want the next one to be. And I think we pretty much achieved our goal. It's a straightforward, heavy hardcore album, but it has some metal in it. A little bit of metal in it.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
It's
Got
like,
a lot of lickety metal riffs,
Yeah, it's like peanut butter and chocolate. It's like the perfect blend of metal and hardcore, right down the middle.
A personal favorite track is "Sense of Doom" with our good friend Jamie Jasta from Hatebreed. That track crushes, bro.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, Jamie has been so good to us over all these years. He booked one of our, with Earth Crisis, he booked one of our first shows in Connecticut when he was literally a teenager.
Yeah.
Yeah, and we stayed at his house.
Yeah.
So, I mean, he's been helping us the whole way. He had us on, like I mentioned earlier, he's had Freya on Headbangers Ball. He's done a couple podcast interviews for Freya as well. Yeah. So, I mean, I knew when I reached out that he would bring his A game to it, and he definitely did.
Yeah. Scott Gajowski says, I was at that show. Yeah. I stayed at Jamie's house too. When I was managing Marauder back in the day in like 90s, whatever it was, 6 or 7 or whatever, Marauder played one of Jamie's shows up there, and we stayed at Jamie's parents' house. His family was away for the weekend, and Marauder slept at Jamie Jasta's parents' house, and I slept in Jamie Jasta's sister's room. Now, Jamie Jasta's sister wasn't around.
Okay,
but I slept at Jamie Jasta's sister's bed.
Hey, you were luckier than I was. I got stuck weeding the garden with his mom.
Some good quality time with the family.
Yeah, that really happened. She's like, "Come here." I was like, "Uh-oh."
She put you to work. That's crazy.
Yeah, there was no escape from yard work.
Well, you upstate guys, she knew, she saw you coming,
Yep.
We're all AKA farmers,
Yeah. Is there a question about is there a vinyl? Is there going to be vinyl for this?
There is.
We should be announcing that. I don't think I sent over the vinyl box or anything like that, but we'll be announcing the pre-orders here in the next couple days.
Okay.
Early next week. There's going to be vinyl, 2-color variants, CD, and other merchandise.
Yeah, it's a hot package for sure. Limited in those color variants.
Yeah.
So once they go live, hop on it. I know Cortex is already on board, so they'll be going over to Europe, and then our distributors over in Japan through Nerds, they'll be taking it.
There you go.
And there's a nice little color scheme with the Syracuse colors, orange and blue.
Yep.
Right.
Very
there
purple.
You go. Go Orange Men.
That's right.
Yeah. Karl, give us some perspective. What other, any other guests on this record?
Yep, we had Freddie Madball on the title track, and he actually wrote a big block of the lyrics that he sang.
Wow.
So not only did we get to have his voice, but we got to have his lyrics. So super thankful for that. And Scott Vogel is on another track. And I mean, it's amazing when you hear his voice, you immediately know that it is Scott.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah.
Yeah, you got the 3 bangers right there: Scott Vogel, Freddie Madball, and Jamie Jasta.
Yeah, and all 3 of those bands have played with Freya over the years. Right. And Freya did a full European tour where Scott sang for a band from over there called Born from Pain, and we shared a bus together.
Wow. When was that?
That was probably after Paragon of the Crucible was released.
Right.
Yeah, we did a full European tour. We actually played more countries through Freya than Earth Crisis has.
Really?
Yeah. Yeah, we spent a lot of time over there.
You went deep, huh?
Yeah, we did. We got to visit a lot of Eastern Europe that Earth Crisis has yet to reach.
Wow. And I assume you were well received there?
Absolutely. Yeah. It was awesome tour. Yep. And that logo there is also the logo from that era that we redid. It's from the Hoods Freya split, Lift the Curse, that point in the timeline.
Good stuff. Is there are you thinking about going back out on a trek like that with this band, Karl?
I would love to do a full European tour off this record. Absolutely.
Is there anything booked other than? Is there anything else? You mentioned something. I don't have a flyer for that. I just have that one Pittsburgh show. But is that what's booked? A couple of shows?
Yep. There's a show. We're gonna have a show at Black Mamba for the Snake. Black Mamba Skate Park. I think on the Friday, then the Saturday is Erie, and then Pittsburgh, or one or the other. There's two in Pittsburgh after that in August, or two in Pennsylvania in August. I'm sorry.
So basically, you kind of go out Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Is that kind of how it works?
Yeah, that's the game plan for right now. But obviously we're looking to do a full US.
Yeah, things have changed. It's tough these days to do that. As we've gotten older, it's tough.
Well, I just hope that there's no second wave of pandemic shutdown craziness or something.
Well, they're trying to figure it out. So give them some time; they'll figure something out.
Right.
So that said, let's see what else. Anything else you upstate folk want to mention?
I was going to say we have a lot going on right now.
Where do you want to begin? Obviously Freya's out in the forefront. That's a main priority. But we got some new releases coming out. Blackest Dawn is another heavy metallic hardcore. If you guys remember Shattered Realm and Year Spent Cold, it's really a combination of those two bands refreshed. We'll be dropping a single here pretty soon. Working on a split between Aggrieved and Cold Case. Once again, heavy metallic hardcore. If you guys are thrashy, fans of thrashy stuff like Nuclear Assault, you're going to absolutely love it.
We got Pissant coming out next.
Oh yeah.
August 4th on that one.
Yep. Pissant is like a brutal beatdown hardcore band. Absolutely love this band. Mm-hmm. They're rising to the top.
Concrete Ties is coming back with a single.
Oh, Concrete Ties.
Yeah, they got a single and single. We'll be announcing here probably tomorrow, maybe.
So we just been having a blast.
You guys keep busy with this shit, huh?
We're always challenging each other,
And hey, I got to thank you for being a sponsor of the show. I couldn't do it without you, so thank you so much.
Of course.
Well, thank you for all that you do as well.
Yeah, much appreciated.
And try to come down to one of these Bowery Electric shows. I know you're busy, but maybe you can make it down to one of these at some point. These are the next 4. So,
Drew, if you get Freya on one, then we'll definitely be down.
We'll have a ride with them anyway. So
let's talk. Let's talk about that.
Yeah, we're ready. We're ready.
Yeah, November or December. Yeah,
that sounds perfect.
Great.
Absolutely. Anybody you guys want to shout out before you go?
We'll shout out Karl for giving us the opportunity to work with you, and of course you, Drew, as well. Oh, and I want to shout out her. We just celebrated 17 years together.
Oh,
congratulations!
And I haven't gotten sick of them yet.
Yeah.
Congratulations, you guys. That's awesome. And thank you, for doing all that you do for Freya. And Drew, thanks for having us on again. It's very cool.
Well, you're not going anywhere just yet. So
He's got more to talk about with you.
Okay, but I'm just saying, might as well take the opportunity to.
Yeah, there you go. I'll see you guys later.
All right.
Sounds great.
Have a good one, guys.
Drew, be good. Karl, we'll talk soon.
All right. Bye-bye. Good people right there, huh?
Absolutely, yeah.
Let's poke around a little bit on a couple of things. How was, I see that I think you guys just did this Detroit thing. Did Earth Crisis just play Detroit? Did that just happen?
That just happened. Yep.
Yeah, and you were doing a Firestorm 30th anniversary set. Is that right?
That is correct. Yep.
Yeah. How was that? Tell us about it, and how was how was it bringing back the Firestorm stuff?
It's fun playing. I mean, some of those songs like Eden's Demise, like we haven't played them in years.
Right.
So it was fun revisiting them, and some of the songs like that, and the lineup for the Tie Down Fest was incredible. It really was.
Look at that. Yeah.
I mean, it's just a complete crusher of a roster of bands. So, I mean, it was packed and it was really well run. The sound on stage was great. So, yeah, we were super thankful to be able to be on that bill and play.
Yeah.
And that's probably the first time we've been in Detroit in a while too.
Yeah. Was it fun to sort of revisit songs from that era, like and relearn them? Like, holy shit, remember this one? Yeah,
it was. Yeah, and that's only the second time I've seen Negative Approach. And,
is that right?
Yeah, and their fans were out of their minds. It was. Oh,
yeah. Well, it's fucking Detroit. It's Negative Approach in Detroit.
Yeah, I know. It's like if Agnostic Front plays here,
Yeah.
It's like that. Like they are their band. It's true.
Yeah. Yeah, you can't. Last week we went to Nighthawk Cinema here in Brooklyn and saw a documentary about the early Detroit hardcore scene, and John Brannon was a big part of the doc, but talking about the early days of the Detroit hardcore scene, and man, that was a rough and scene there. The clubs that were downtown Detroit. Detroit was a fucked up city back then.
Yeah, and you know what I gotta say, at least the part of the city center that we visited, it finally looks pretty good. It really does.
Yeah.
Like they rebuilt one section of it and it looks really good.
Yeah.
But I mean, we've been playing there since like 93. And when we used to go, it was like legitimately dangerous just to be in a car on the street or on the sidewalk. Like it lived up to its reputation for sure.
I mean, Detroit has a very interesting history, just with what happened with, the auto industry, and like everyone moved out of the city of Detroit. And then when the whole thing collapsed, it left behind, a brutal wasteland, when the whole infrastructure, when the whole infrastructure, came apart, it's really.
Yeah. And I'll tell you, I watched a video the other night on YouTube called "What Happened to Syracuse," and the story of Syracuse is honestly very similar to what happened in Detroit.
Tell us about it. Tell us about it.
Well, like GE was a big company. They made like air conditioners and something else, maybe refrigerators or something. Sure. And I think they went to Mexico. They sent their manufacturing there. And then there was two other big companies that quickly bailed out, and it turned certain parts of the city into a ghost town. It really did in the early 90s. Like it was not the level of madness of Detroit with the crime, but it was pretty grim. Like buildings just boarded up, and it's amazing how quickly things will fall apart when they're not maintained.
Absolutely.
With the kind of winters that we have. So it's like a building might have only been abandoned for 4 years, but it looked like nobody had been there in 12. So it was a crazy time.
I think that can be said for a lot of upstate New York State. Whether we're talking about Utica or Buffalo or Rochester. I mean, but there's so many sort of in between, towns or cities that really, don't have the ability to sort of reinvent themselves, that are really, kind of rough, whether it's, I don't want to disrespect anybody, but like, there's a lot of upstate New York places that don't have the ability, because a lot of them, like, they're on the water, so they reinvent themselves as a touristy place because they have the waterfront or whatever, right?
Yeah, but all those waterways, all those rivers, just like the Great Lakes, they used to ferry, products in and out. So like, Rochester was famous for Kodak, and
that's right.
And there was a car company from Syracuse too, believe it or not, years ago. And you were talking about those like crime films that Scorsese did. Sure. A lot of people don't know this, but there was like a very heavy mafia presence in Utica, in Rochester, and you can look this up on YouTube. There was like, when I was a kid, there was like car bombs and shootings in Rochester, like no different than like in Brooklyn. And like there's actually been kind of a resurgence of the mafia in Buffalo too.
Yeah.
So it's everywhere. It is.
GP says Franklin Automobile.
Yeah. And who would have been able to answer that question is Eric, if he was here, because he's really sharp with all, my guitar player Eric. He's really sharp with all the history.
Well, I could see. I mean, I could see. You mentioned Buffalo. I could see certainly a city like Buffalo because they have major sports teams. There's a lot going on there. With a lot of money changing hands. So that's always been the case. And speaking of Syracuse, and we're sort of just chopping around. Someone was asking about this venue. This is an early picture of you guys playing the Lost Horizon.
Yeah, it's still there.
Could you give us what was and what is the Lost Horizon, and what does it mean to sort of like the Syracuse hardcore scene?
Okay, the Lost Horizon to Syracuse is what CBGB's is to New York City. This has been the place where like Suicidal Tendencies or DRI would play, or Agnostic Front or Sick of It All in the early in the mid 80s. This is where every punk, metal, or hardcore band would play. And I think, Black Flag played there, Danzig, Slayer actually played there.
Wow.
And this is a relatively small club. Maybe like 300-400 people fit in it. But it has kept going this whole time. And Greg Italiano, who used to run it, he loved all those bands. Like he would actually get like autographs from bands and stuff. Like he actually liked the music, So he was really good to Earth Crisis. He passed away, but I just want to mention his name if we're going to mention the Lost Horizon, because the two should be synonymous.
Yeah, and here's an early flyer from 1992. Earth Crisis is on here. I love this bill. It's 108 headlining, but it's the Lost Horizon, October 11th, 1992. 108. Ask Hans, Matter of Fact, Earth Crisis, and Solstice.
Yep.
Yeah.
And Solstice was a heavy hardcore band from Syracuse. I went to school with their singer Majeski, and he was a really talented guy. He passed away, but just want to shout him out.
Yeah. Yeah, that stuff. And then, you know, I know we touched on, we spoke about this, you know, when you came on the first show, but this is just such a great photo. We got to put it up. A picture. This is you playing bass, first ever Earth Crisis show.
Yep. And that was in Syracuse at what is it called? Like a VFW hall. Yep, a VFW hall over on the north side.
You know, based on the sort of the paneling, the wood, the wood, the wall paneling, my guess would be VFW hall. You know?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. Max says Solstice Raise the Earth was great.
Solstice was awesome, and I also want to say Dave was a great skateboarder too. He really was.
Is that right?
Yep. And he wasn't afraid, you know, he would show up at a hardcore show wearing a Kiss shirt. So he wasn't afraid to be himself. You know, he wasn't like ever trying to fit in or anything, you know. He loved what he loved, and he was very unapologetic about it.
Yeah. Yeah, I've you know, as I've gotten older, I've sort of arrived in that place as well, you know.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, I'll wear my Donna Summer shirt to the hardcore show, you know. It's like whatever, you know.
Yeah.
You know, I'll talk about, you know, my love for the Grateful Dead on this show, you know. Whatever.
Yeah, you could do it now.
You know, yeah, I could get away with it now. I couldn't for a long time, but I can now. You know, every time this picture, this picture gets posted or makes or circulates a little bit, somebody comments on the shirt I'm wearing here and goes, you know, oh, you know what I'd give for that. And this is a shot of me directing. I'm doing the Agnostic Front Gotta Go video, and with Roger. And I'm wearing the Champion Earth Crisis reversible jersey.
Yep.
Kids look at that and they go over the moon over that.
Yeah, if you're from, like I said before, and the other time we talked on your show, I said if you're from Syracuse, you're forced to like basketball. You have no choice.
Yeah. You know. People say, "Do you still have it?" I go, "Do I still have it? I don't have it." Yeah, I probably didn't have it a week later. You know, it was probably, you know, in my world, things come in and out really, really, really fast. Before we take a quick break and come back and we'll take around the world. I also see. I guess this was another little Earth Crisis kind of run. I guess you did this a couple months ago with One King Down, St. Vitus, which I heard was a killer show. St. Vitus, Cambridge, up to Syracuse. Is that right? You went Brooklyn to Cambridge, Mass, up to Syracuse, and then back down to Amityville?
It looks like it. Yeah, that was some strange routing, but so be it.
Yeah.
Yeah, the shows were really fun, and that's the first time we played Syracuse in a long time. And the reason for that was I said, you know, if we're going to think back, what Earth Crisis would always do was, you know, we'd go out on a tour and we'd save the last show for when we got home. So we'd, you know, and it wouldn't, you know, so we'd be very sharp.
Yeah.
You know, because we'd just been playing the songs for weeks after weeks.
Sure.
Night after night. And I was like, the next time we play Syracuse, we need to wait until we have a new record out. And we put that record out, Vegan for the Animals, and it felt like it was almost the end of a tour cycle, like enough time had passed and we played those songs enough. And it was cool being able to do that.
It must be fun playing Syracuse. You know, everyone comes out of the woodwork, I assume, and it's like a real homecoming thing.
It was an awesome show, and the newspaper did a really cool write-up on us. So it was well worth the wait.
Right on. Hey, let me take a quick sponsor break, and we'll come back and we'll take some questions from around the world, okay?
Okay.
This is the New York Hardcore Chronicles Live, and we are sponsored by blah, 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 and the Texas Silver Rush. They're a jewelry design firm and boutique store located in the birthplace of the Texas country music scene in Fredericksburg, Texas. They specialize in working with musicians in all music genres to design and create unique one-off pieces, as well as the style them for stage, album covers, promo photos, and social media exposure. Their client list includes Rock and Roll Hall of Famers Greg Rolle, Ringo Starr, and of course, Agnostic Front. Information and online sales are being taken at their Facebook and Instagram pages, and of course, www.texassilverrush.com. That said, we already heard from Upstate Records. Want to mention, and hey, if you have questions, please post them now. Any questions for Karl from Earth Crisis and Freya, get weird, go deep, post your questions. Don't be shy. Let them. Want to mention also, of course, this Sunday, there's no show because there's a Bowery Electric show. After that is the Cross Island Connect Shaolin Saturday matinee on Saturday, August 12th with Cropsy and many others. Sunday, August 13th, we're back at the Bowery Electric with The Take, Silence Equals Death, Star Car featuring Sab Gray from Iron Cross, Ma'afa, and the first show in 10 years, Mr. Pickle. Down in Greenville, South Carolina. And if you are too, I look forward to seeing you. My new film, which amazingly is still doing the film festival circuit, The Jews and the Blues. I'll be screening it down there. I'm going down with Rochelle. And we look forward to seeing all our friends down at the Greenville Jewish Film Festival. Sunday, September 3rd, Bowery Electric, School Drugs, Non-Residents, Fire is Murder, Cartel, Dragons at noon. Tickets are going on sale soon for the Nighthawk screening of Dick Dynamite 1944. It is Thursday, September 7th. I will be moderating the Q&A with actor Dick Valentine, director Robbie Steve Davidson, and yes, Vinny Stigma from Agnostic Front. This show is sold out. Saturday, September 9th in Cindy Ice. It's going to jump off tonight. And H2O at the Bridge 9 Records warehouse. It's sold out in a half hour. I hope you got tickets. Hope to see you there. Spoiler NYC, The Take, Ice Cold Killers, ID, and Frequency Overload, Saturday, September 30th at Dingbats. Come on down. And then the ID record release show is Sunday, October 8th. It's free at the Bowery Electric. We are excited to have playing their first New York show, The Long Wait, featuring ex-members of SSD Control, Slapshot, and Wrecking Crew. Also, RBNX have their record release show, Chum Huffer, and Faded Line. All this and more. I think I've covered pretty much everything. If you're watching the film, if you're watching the show on YouTube as a rerun, please hit the subscribe button right about there. Subscribe to the show so you can get all the alerts as to what is happening. Follow the show on Instagram. It's at the bottom there. And of course, if you are a patron, or if you're not, please join Patreon. We have the new book coming out, and all that is going down. That said, please post your questions or anything that you have for Karl. And here we go. Let's bring our guest back on. Hey, man.
Howdy. All right, hit me with the first question. What's the first one?
First question comes from Solomonez Pizarra. Has Earth Crisis ever played in Mexico?
Yes, we have. We played in Tijuana and we played at Mexico City. And the Mexico City show was a festival that we performed at maybe 4 or 5 years ago. It was very cool.
It was a festival in Tijuana?
Yep. No, that was just a normal show. We popped over from San Diego, but the Mexico City show was a festival.
What was that place in Tijuana? Was it Iguanas? You know that place?
You know, I don't really recall.
It was like, it had like multi-levels. Is that right? Does anybody know of that? Was it Iguanas in Tijuana? I think I was over there with Biohazard. They have like, it was like a bunch of different balconies. Really, really interesting place.
Yeah, it was a small club. I don't think it was where Biohazard played. Yeah. But it was cool.
Yeah. Yes, GP. That is correct. I am hosting the Dick Dynamite thing, and Dick Valentine from E6. Yes, he's in the film. You know, I don't know about this band E6, but I'm learning about it. Yes, Dick Valentine from E6 will be there in the Q&A. Apparently, I'm hosting this film screening. I'm involved with these filmmakers, and the actor that's in it is in a band that I didn't know, but they're huge in the UK. One of those things, it's like they're fucking huge in the UK. That said, yeah, that's right. That's the song. Let's Go to a Gay Bar. That's right. That was their song. Their big hit. Go figure. Speaking of which, by the way, if anybody out there is looking for something to watch on Netflix, I just rewatched the Studio 54 documentary, and I highly recommend it. It's really good. The guy Ian Schrager speaks really for the first time about Studio. He was one of the guys who opened it up, who went to jail. His interview alone about it really is worth the price of admission alone. That said, moving on. Let's see. Jerry D asks, always wondered why the vocals on Eden's Demise sounded different from the other tracks on the Firestorm 7-inch.
If I'm going to be honest, which I'm going to choose that option as always, I was tired out.
Is that right?
Yeah, I was tired out.
It was funny, like we were talking earlier about sort of you and I being vocalists, how we handle the studio these days and what works best. And in reference to that, I'm assuming, kind of going back to that, you didn't have the luxury that you and I kind of have now when we go into the studio. Is that safe to say?
Yeah. Recording back then was kind of a race against time to try and get things done. Mm-hmm. And I think, I did my best with Firestorm, Forged in the Flames, and Unseen Holocaust. But I think by the time I got to Unseen or Eden's Demise, I was just kind of worn out.
Yeah.
So that's
yeah. I mean, you go. Fair enough. You go at it hard, man. You go at it hard. I mean, it takes a lot. You kind of don't. I mean, you could. Outsiders can kind of understand, but when you're singing this stuff, it's a full body experience.
Oh,
it
for
takes
sure, yeah.
It takes a lot out of you. People say, well, don't go at it that hard. And I'm like, you don't understand. There's no other way to kind of do it, really.
Right. Yeah, it's like if you try to ollie down a flight of stairs, you have to go fast and you have to just go for it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah. Kyle Rhodes asks, is there any more music videos in the works for Freya?
Yes, there is. We're doing a video for Signs and Omens, which is another song off the new album. Yep. And there's the old videos are archived, like Last Light Drains and Colossus and Suffer Not One. All those are up on YouTube if people want to go backwards in time and check it out.
Cool. Hey, what's up, Busky? There he is. What's up? Big shout. Speaking of Syracuse, Jonathan Busky, what's up, dudes? Much love to Charlie X. Is that an inside thing? What's Charlie X?
That was my code name when I was younger.
Charlie X. Well, we're honored today to have Charlie X on the show. Hey, Busky. Why don't you come on, Busky? Give us a go deep, Jonathan Busky. Ask us ask Karl like a real Syracuse kind of question, will you? Yeah. One of the best, hardest voices in the game. Yeah, absolutely. Max the Threat asks, did you take singing lessons? How do you work your voice out?
Okay. My mom and my aunt were both opera singers.
No shit.
Yeah. Yeah, until she met my dad and he ruined her life. I mean, she was on course.
Right.
But,
right.
You know, yeah, her skill level was incredible. And she taught me breathing techniques, which were really helpful.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It helps to, and it will help to sustain a note, but it can also be, utilized for like the type of vocal approach you and I have. Those same techniques. Yeah.
Well, as a young teenager, when I was in the High and the Mighty in the early 80s, I used to hurt myself a lot when I would sing, because I was singing all from here, all from the throat,
Yep.
And my breathing was awful. And I would just, every gig we did, I would just destroy my voice and my throat, and I couldn't talk for a week. So it took many years to the point where, now I could do a show and kind of through breathing, I don't destroy myself,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. You got to develop techniques.
Yeah. Absolutely. Mark asks, didn't Earth Crisis record at Mars Studio with Bill Korecki? Was it the Slither album?
No, that's where we recorded Firestorm out in Cleveland. Yeah. And he had done Integrity and Mean Streak, and he probably recorded Tony Victory's band, not Iceman, but Even Score. So we knew we'd get a quality recording there. That's where Victory was sending their bands, because Victory was from Chicago, not too far.
Yeah. Not to this is a good one from John in London. Although Firestorm was more metal than most back then, did you get much negative feedback for the Destroy the Machine release being too metal for a lot of the hardcore scene back then?
In certain scenes, yes. In other scenes, I think people were absolutely ready for it. Because I mean, the Marauder demo came out around the same time.
Yeah.
And All Out War from Upstate came out around the same time. So there were other ideas that were like, let's stir a pretty heavy dose of metal into the hardcore, and we'll see what happens.
Yeah. Yeah. Thomas asks, any new hardcore bands Karl listens to?
Yeah, check out Street Hassle and Deal with God. Both those bands are really heavy. They're awesome.
Great names. I'd never even heard these. Street Hassle and Deal with God?
Yeah.
Great names. Great.
And check out my my guitar player Scott's other band, Tooth and Claw. Oh, and Dennis, my drummer, he revived a band that he did in the early 90s that had Scott Vogel from Terror and Tim from Snapcase on vocals. They had two singers, and Cinderblock is back, and they recorded a record, and
wow.
pretty cool. So check all those guys out.
It just goes to show there are a couple of band names, still out there that are good, that are usable. It's like you just have to go. They're still out there. Those are good. Those are good names. Does the band have any Syracuse area shows booked?
Well, Freya is going to be playing, like I mentioned earlier, the Black Mamba Skate Park show coming up in August, and we'll be posting a flyer of that soon.
Okay. A little deep here, Shano. I know it's a heavy question. Earth Crisis are accused of homophobia in the past. I'm not saying you're homophobic, Karl. I just want to know your thoughts on that.
No, there's no truth to that, and there never would be or has been.
And that's why I sort of brought that to the forefront, because I've never heard anything like that regarding Earth Crisis.
No, and you know what? It probably relates to a misprint on a Roadrunner cassette. There was a song called Drug Related Homicide, but they misspelled it, as ridiculous as that is.
Ah.
Yeah.
Oh.
I know.
Oh, man. You know, if it was easy, everybody would be doing it, right?
I know. And just for the record, too, it's like I did not grow up in a hardcore scene. I grew up in a punk scene, you know, in the mid-'80s in Syracuse. There was no hardcore scene at the time, really. Yeah. I mean, there was some bands that were a little bit more aggressive with the hardcore punk, but it was literally a punk rock scene with, like, you know, guys with spiked hair and girls with mohawks, and some of those guys were gay, and we never had a problem being friends with them. Never.
Right on. Dominic Chirchirillo. All right. He says, this Goomba wants to know your favorite pizzeria in Syracuse.
My favorite pizzeria.
That's a great one.
Man. I'm trying to think. You know what? I'm going to skip the pizzeria. I'm going to give credit to Tofuti. I think that they made the best vegan pizzas. I don't see them around anymore, but those things were awesome.
Tofuti.
Yeah, and I haven't seen it, but those were my favorite.
Yeah. Yeah, right. John says, Earth Crisis were accused of almost everything back in the 90s. Totally inspiring to see these guys still doing it and staying true.
Yeah, there were some that saw us as villains. But I really do think more than anything, it was just because the approach that we took musically was kind of jarring to some people. You know, they wanted more youth of today, and we weren't really going in that musical direction.
Right. Yeah.
And my thought is always this, you know, it's like I love youth of today, but I don't want to try and be them. I want to be me.
Sure. Absolutely. I'm not sure where this one's coming from. Does Karl like the Smiths?
No.
All right. Good, honest, straightforward answer. No.
Yeah, no, I mean, I over the years I'd been with plenty of gothic girls that would play me all that stuff, and it's just like, no, I don't like any of it.
No. No. Nothing to say. No. What's this? What about the yogurt incident? What is that? Is that a
when we played Middlesex College, a guy jumped on stage in a fur coat or a fake fur coat, and his friend threw yogurt, I guess. And 454 Big Block got real mad. They were more mad than we were.
You know, it reminds me of, and I guess it's a question, like back when you were really running at it hard and doing it, was there any like weird like incidents? Like I forgot who it was. It might have been Civ, or I don't know if it was Civ, or it was one of those guys told me a story about like they were standing in front of the club and like some car drove by and like threw hamburgers at him, and they were like, yeah, okay.
Yeah, exactly. You know, it's just, I mean, just kind of juvenile, but it goes with the territory, I guess.
Yeah. Listen, Earth Crisis is playing in town. Let's go get a pack of hot dogs and throw it at them.
Yeah, exactly. Not the most imaginative prank.
But then again, I would guess, you know, if I was in my, you know, we definitely chased him down the street over that, you know.
For sure, yeah.
Yeah, but you know, let's see. What happened to Victory Records? Well, I think part of that is Victory Records was sold, wasn't it?
Yeah, Victory Records was sold to a company called, I believe, Concord.
Yeah.
And from what I heard, they destroyed all the physical copies, and which was utterly bizarre if that is accurate. But I guess our stuff is still available through Concord, and a lot of our records are being reissued through Holy Mountain.
Who struck a deal through Concord to license it?
They must have, yeah, they must have. And I'm not too involved in the business aspects of the band. Scott would have the answers for that.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it's for a lot of labels like that, you know, Victory, Century Media, a couple others. Amazingly, you know, guys, you know, those labels ended up being sold for millions and millions and millions of dollars. You know?
Yeah. Yeah. Like I heard Victory sold for like upwards of $25 million or something like that for the entire back catalog.
Yeah, that's right. That's the number I remember. How was it touring? How was it touring with Turmoil, Karl? I saw both playing in Italy in '97.
Yeah, Turmoil was a great pairing for us. They were super aggressive hardcore, and we played out in their area, in their part of Pennsylvania, multiple times, and we played with Conviction, who had I think they shared the guitars for a while, Jim, and Jim came out and played with us. So we did a full European tour with Turmoil, and we actually played a festival and got to see Tina Turner.
Oh wow!
Yeah,
one of those. We talk about this a lot, you know, when you play those European festivals and you get, you know, you get there and you kind of look at the lineup and you're like, oh, you know, like, oh, yo, fucking David Bowie's on it, yo, you know, like
yeah.
when I was out with Biohazard and like they were doing these festivals and it would be like, fuck yeah, you know, like let's go, fucking Motorhead. You know?
Right. Yeah. We played a festival with Motorhead and Fishbone and one of Mike Patton's bands.
Oh, Mr. Bungle or something, or one of those other ones.
Yeah, an even crazier one. The one where the drummer from Slayer was the percussionist.
Yeah.
The name escapes me, but it was awesome.
Yeah, that was always so much fun. Those festivals. When was the last time Earth Crisis went over and did festivals in Europe?
It was a number of years ago. Freya was over there. We played a festival with Behemoth and some other crazy bands.
Yeah. Yeah. Jerry D says, I heard Karl on Hoya Rock's podcast. Those two need to do a hardcore Odd Couple reality show. Yeah. I could see that.
Madball's one of our favorite bands to play with and tour with, for sure. We love those guys.
Well, I sort of think when I think back on those sort of days, I think like in the same sort of thought process. I think Earth Crisis, Scott Koenig. I kind of think of you guys. I think of like that sort of togetherness, you know?
Yeah, because we played so many times together, you know?
Yeah. Yeah. Absolutely. Oh, here you go. Thomas says Biohazard's playing a festival this summer in Poland with the Spin Doctors. Luckily, Drain is also on the bill. Hey, Chris Contos, what's up, bro? How are you, buddy?
Oh, I got one for you.
Please.
Earth Crisis was in Europe, and we played a festival with Destiny's Child.
Wow.
Yeah, and Destiny's Child, I think, has the girl that's married to Jay-Z or something that.
Yeah, Beyonce. Uh-huh.
Yeah, but they were it was like us and Madball, and I think Richie Scam was there. I don't know if Scam was playing or not, but they probably were, maybe they were. But like those girls were like wearing like Vegas style, like glittery cocktail dresses or something. Like, and I don't think they'd ever seen hardcore dudes, and it was like they were at the zoo.
It's kind of like when you get on the airplane with like your hardcore band, you know, and it's just like
Yeah, but I remember they were all three of them. All three of those girls were sitting in chairs, and they were just like looking around and just, you know, they're just astonished that there was maniacs this crazy.
Sure. It's like when worlds collide, you know? Like,
yeah. It's like, how did our booking agent do this to us?
Right. Yeah. Kanto says, I get to play 2 shows with Biohazard in August and Agnostic Front and Madball. I'm so stoked. Yeah, because Kantos is playing in Forbidden now, the San Francisco thrash band. So
that's awesome.
Bougie says, think he was talking about Mr. Bungle's Raging Wrath of the Easter Bunny. No, I think Mike Patton had a couple other like weird bands that were like around for a year or two here or there, right?
Yeah, he was playing keyboards. I remember that.
All right.
If that helps anyone with their guesswork.
There you go. So that said, all right, cool. Phantomas?
Yes.
There you go.
Phantomas.
Yeah, thank you, Chris Hoffman.
Yes.
Yeah.
He saved the day.
I went to listen to Earth Crisis in my car and Steer Pulse came on instead. Not sure why. All right.
Because that's where the name actually came from. From the reggae band Steel Pulse.
Is that where the name Earth Crisis came from?
Yeah, basically.
Yeah.
I mean, look at that album cover. That album cover looks like a punk band. It looks like a thrash band.
Which album cover? Which one?
Steel Pulse, Earth Crisis.
Yep. Hold on, let's find it.
Yeah. And the lyrics are amazing to that song.
Yeah, I know. I know this album cover, of course. Hold on. Here we go. Let me see. That's a little small. Let me find a bigger one. Come on. Let's see. Okay, I got it. Here we go. Oh, yeah. This looks like an MDC record cover.
It could also be an AF record, though.
Yeah. Here you go. Boom. There it is.
Look at that. It's beautiful.
Yeah, absolutely. Very cool. Yeah. This is Reagan Youth. This could be the Reagan Youth record cover, you know?
That's right.
Yeah, that's great.
Yeah, and if you want to check out some cool reggae for fans of it, check out the Congos. They're pretty underground, but like I don't think they ever got the justice they were due. But those songs are amazing.
That's great.
Yeah, the Congos.
Cause for alarm. Yeah, fantastic. Well, there you go, my friend. Well, it was so nice to have you back, man. Thank you.
Yes, and thank you for hooking it up for Freya.
Yeah, and let's let's keep in touch, and I want to talk to Upstate, and let's try to get you down here for one of these Bowery Electric shows, because I'm confident that we're going to weather the storm here, and I'll be booking November and December soon.
Yeah, we're ready to play, and the album comes out in September.
Okay, cool. Anybody you want to shout out? Anybody you want to thank?
Just thanks to everybody at Upstate Records for pushing hard. Thanks to you, and thanks to everybody that has supported and appreciated Freya over all these years. You know, we're back. The record's coming out.
Fantastic. I'll talk to you soon, bro.
Okay, thank you.
Take care. Well, there you have it. Another one in the books, the New York Hardcore Chronicles live. Hope you enjoyed it. It was nice to have our old friend back on the show. You know what I want to mention? Some of you guys out there, because this is kind of news to me, and I am getting hip to this. Dick Valentine is the guy that sang in the band. What was the name of the band? And they had that big hit song. This is news to me that a lot of the UK people are like, that guy, right? Hey, Busky, thank you, buddy. The Dick Dynamite thing. This is Thursday, the 7th. Let me. Is it E6? That's it. Electric 6. Thank you. E6. Not to do a deep dive into it now, but my original film script, Finders Keepers, is in pre-production, and the guys, including Robbie Steve Davidson, that was in the Exploited Bio, who has been a guest on the show, is involved in my new film. They are coming here in September to do some pre-production for my film, and we're doing a screening of Dick Dynamite in at the Nighthawk Cinema. Here is the Dick Dynamite Nighthawk flyer. Yeah, here's the flyer in all its glory. Here it is. Boom. There you go. So that's the, you know what? Why don't we do this? This would be cool. I'll show you guys something. Check this out. Do I have it here still? Yes, I do. All right. Check this out as we're talking about this Dick Dynamite thing. It's going to be announced pretty soon. Get a load of this.
The cult classic indie movie that's taking the world by storm finally gets its USA debut. Stone Films NYHC and the New York Hardcore Podcasters. Dick Dynamite 1944. Featuring members of the Exploited, Biohazard, Gnostic Fright, Sleaford Mods, and many more. Vinny Stigma and Mike Gallo, Blog Dahlia, Lars Fredrickson, Waddy Bucket, Billy Grazia Day, Nick Oliveri, Dick Valentine as Commander Eagles Kearney, Joey Z, and many more. Hosted by Bruce Stone, including a Q&A with director Robbie Steve Davidson, as well as special cast member guests, for one night only at the Nighthawk Cinema in Williamsburg, Brooklyn, New York. You'll explode when you see Dick Dynamite.
How cool is that, huh? Tickets are going on sale. Yeah, tickets are going on sale. In a couple, I think in a week or so. So there you go. Hey, Chano, thank you for the super chat. That's awfully kind of you. Thank you for supporting the show. Gary, good show. We'll hopefully see some of you UK punkers at Rebellion Fest next week. Murphy's Law, MDC, DRI, Gangrene, etc., etc. Yeah. Yep. Yeah. This, how cool. Yo. So listen, we're gonna talk way about this in the future. This is something that's been in the works for a while. But the guys that are involved in this film are the guys that are involved in my new film, Finders Keepers. So yeah, there's going to be some crossover here. So there you go. Thanks a lot, everybody. That was a cool show. It was nice to see our old friend Karl again. We'll be back here a week from today with Josh Jerk from School Drugs. And then, of course, if you're around in New York City on this Sunday, please come out and support the Bowery Electric Show. Until then, my friends, do good things and good things will come to you.